Last night was NXT Stand and Deliver, but when was the last time a WWE show truly stood and actually delivered? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling here for your Stand and Deliver 2026 review. This is the WrestleMania of NXT. Obviously, NXT is the third brand of WWE, the development brand of WWE, supposed to be the future of WWE. And when you watch this show, when you watch NXT, I mean, it's quite clear to see that the future is bleak. There is no future for WWE, at least not with these guys. You think the company's bad, it's only going to get worse. And that's not me saying that I don't think there's anybody on NXT that could come in to Raw or SmackDown and do a decent job. I mean, I think there's a handful of people that are alright, but for the most part, you're just looking at this roster, it's just full of jabronis. They don't even have time on their side. You look at like the average age of these wrestlers, considering it is the third brand, it's development, you'd expect them all to be like early 20s, but nah. I mean, most of these people are in their 30s. A lot of these people are closer to 40. So it's like, what is the fucking point? You know, like, what is the future of this show? And speaking about not having much of a future, being old, we kicked off with Shawn Michaels. And for what, no other reason, really, other than Shawn Michaels to come out, try and steal the spotlight. I mean, this never happened in the past. When you had WrestleMania, who wanted to see the GM or the authority figure kick off the show? I mean, that would never happen. Yes, they could be in segments, backstage or whatever, but kicking off the show with Shawn Michaels, for what? He comes out and he announces tonight's special guest host, and it is none other than Sexyy Red, who is just not sexy at all. She comes out dressed in her signature red, she twerks in the ring, and then Shawn Michaels says, if you're not down with that, I've got two words for you. And she chants, suck it, because, you know, Shawn Michaels is a Christian who won't say it, and she's just a degenerate from the hood who, you know, not only says it but does it. So, yeah, that was the start of your show. A weird start to the show where you've got Shawn Michaels dancing with Sexyy Red. I mean, the guy's like 60 years old, and he's dancing next to some crack whore, you know, it doesn't really make sense. Who wants that to kick off the show? Why is that kicking off the show? I mean, WWE, they're hell-bent on bringing in celebrities, and they all fucking suck. Either bring in a good celebrity, or bring in nobody. But what was the point of this? What did this get over? What did this do? How did this elevate the show? Didn't do fuck all. Just got Shawn Michaels a little bit of screen time, you know, and it showed you fucking Sexyy Red's massive fucking forehead. Nobody cares. Right, first match, Jacy Jayne versus Lola Fice and Kendall Gray. Triple threat, championship on the line. I don't understand Jacy Jayne. The mega push that she's got, I think, is insane. When it comes to looks, she's average. When it comes to her in-ring ability, she's average. Everything about Jacy Jayne makes skills average. I've never seen someone so average get so much of a push in NXT. Like, she's had two very long and successful NXT like title reigns over like the past 18 months, 2 years, and I just can't think why, you know, why? Who the fuck's she sleeping with in NXT to get these title reigns? But the screen went black most of the time because Jacy had a wardrobe malfunction, so yeah, her chest kept popping out of her top, so not good. NXT, WWE, Netflix, they kept throwing up the black screen. It was pretty unwatchable, not gonna lie. I mean, this happened on numerous occasions. Originally I didn't even realise, I thought just my Netflix was playing up, or I don't know, there was an issue with the stream or something like that. But yeah, it turns out that, you know, Jacy Jayne's top would just not stay in place. Lola Fice picked up the win. New champion. You know what? Fresh. I'll give them it. About time. And for me, Jacy Jayne now, 29 years old. She's got to get called up to the main roster. It's sink or swim. You've had 2 NXT title reigns. Let's see now what you can do on Raw and SmackDown. Right, then we got the Vanity Project versus Los Americanos. And I'm not going to speak about this match in detail because it's Los Americanos. Why the fuck are these guys fighting a Stand and Deliver? Makes no sense. Rail, Bravo, they can both fuck off. Just a joke of a tag team match. The Vanity Project win. Good for them. We then see Tatum Paxley and Sexy Red hanging out backstage. Ricky says when he becomes an NXT champion tonight, Sexy can hang out with a real VIP instead of the freaks. So that's what we got there. Third match, Sol Ruka versus Saraya. Sol Ruka got the win. I like Sol Ruka. I would call her up to the main roster. Couldn't give a shit about Saraya, but glad Sol Ruka won. Good for her. Then we got Miles Bourne versus Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship. Apparently, Gargano has won this belt more than any other wrestler. But what's he doing at the age of 40 back in NXT? You know, made no sense to me. You could at least try and maybe this is why he's been upset because he's not been getting titles or whatever. But you know what a fucking waste. It's this where we're at now. Stand and Deliver needs a big star. We need to put a big name on the show. Let's send Johnny Gargano down from the main roster. Is that what we're dealing with now? At least when Dolph Ziggler went down to NXT like a few years ago to feud with Braun Breaker, I mean, at least Dolph Ziggler felt like a decent mid-carder. I mean, the guy had been a world champion before, and yeah, he'd never exactly got the big push, but he'd done stuff. You know, he'd been a world champ. He won that Authority Survivor Series match. He'd done stuff. Johnny Gargano's done hee-haw. So why the fuck are they wasting time putting this guy on Stand and Deliver? Unreal, honestly. Unreal. We then get a backstage segment with Sexy and Lola Fice celebrating her title win, and they just both start twerking. They literally both start twerking, and then Sexy Red starts slapping Lola Fice's ass. I mean, I'm not even joking. And it's like, this is just degenerate shit. And it pisses me off because all they ever do, the women, is bash the Divas era. And they never give, like, Trish Stratus and the women of that generation the respect and credit they deserve. Yet you look at the women in this generation, I mean, they can talk about bra and panties matches. The outfits that the women wear today are just as revealing as anything that the women would be showing back in the day. And I mean, WWE at this point, it's just like thirst traps. I mean, that's all that it is. You look at the women, you look at their gear, you look at, like, I mean, they all come out and they're all like twerking it. I mean, you can say what you want about Trish Stratus, but when did she really ever come out in her ring entrance and like shake her ass or twist her ass? You know, like Lola Fice has got the ass thing. Lots of wrestlers. I mean, Nikki Bella's got the thing where she spins her body. I mean, see, think about it. When did Trish ever do that? Never. You know, fucking never. I mean, the only time Trish Stratus would have acted sexy like that is if she was in a storyline with like Vince McMahon. That's fucking it. So again, you know, I'm just sick of them bashing the women's wrestling of the past. But then you look at this shit, and it's just like degenerate, like it's just like OF whores that are pretending to fight in a ring. And then you add Sexy Red to the mix, and who knows what kind of diseases you're spreading in NXT. But yeah, we need to stop pretending that women's wrestling in 2026 is serious and we only care. I mean, even when it comes to like wardrobe malfunctions, it very rarely happened back in the day because like the women wore appropriate wrestling gear. You look at I mean, how many times do we see like tits or whatever popping out? We actually see it regularly now in WWE, and then how many times see the women with like the suspender things that like, you know, try and like push up the size of her ass and shit like that. It's insane. It's fucking insane. And you've got trash like Sexy Red slapping her ass, and it's I mean what? I mean honestly, I thought Lola Face was just going to like whip out her phone and log into her OF and start streaming. That's what you would think was going to happen here. You know, just what is this? What kind of character work or kind of wrestling style segment is this? Two fucking chicks, you know, one from the hood and the other, I mean, probably both from the hood, fuck it. And they're bending over, and you got the other one who's the so-called celebrity slapping the ass cheeks of the other girl who's wearing a very like revealing pair of bottoms, and you're seeing her you're seeing her ass and bounce about and stuff like this. So, like, I'm not complaining, but like, holy fuck, I mean, what is this? You know, it's almost like NXT is like softcore porn or some bullshit, right? Then we got Monroe versus Paxley. Paxley kicked out of like everything here. Paxley kicked out of like she kicked out of, I don't even know what you call it, like an exposed turnbuckle bump. Fuck it, you know, mental. She beats Monroe, good for her. We had Dark State having an argument, and then we got the main event. It was, so here it was 37-year-old Joe Hendry versus 36-year-old Ricky Saints versus 36-year-old Ethan Page versus 30-year-old Tony D'Angelo. And this is like this is supposed to be the future of NXT. This is the next generation. 3 of the guys in this match were over the age of 35. Now, if you remember, Paul Heyman said that if he went to TNA in 2010, the first thing he was going to do was he was going to get rid of everybody that was over the age of 35 because he wanted to build for the future and he wanted a young roster. We need to stop pretending now because wrestling is old as fuck and everyone's old and it sucks. Now they're trying to move the goalposts and they're like, oh, 40 is the new 30. No, it's not. No, it's not. 40 is still 40. And a lot of these guys just shouldn't be. I mean, if by 36, if you haven't accomplished anything, then you're probably not going to do nothing in your career. Let's be honest. We cannot be pushing these guys as the next generation. And it just doesn't look right. It just fucking doesn't. Wrestling, you want this, like, believability. Like, when it comes to the men, you want guys that look like they're in their prime. You want guys that look jacked, that look like they could legitimately go and win fights. You want women that look hot and they're at their peak attractiveness. And I'm sorry, but when you're like in your late 30s, 40s, that's not when women are in their peak attractiveness. When you're a guy and you're in your 40s, that is not when you've got your peak physical, you know, build or athleticism or whatever. Now, some people are going to say, oh, but he looks better at 40 than he did at 25. Yes, dipshit, that's possible, right? Somebody can look better at 40 than they can at 25, but the fact is, if they put in the exact same work that they did at 40 when they were 25, they would have looked better at 25. You know, some people talk about Punk and they're like, oh, but look, Punk's got a better build now than he did 20 years. Yeah, that's because 20 years ago he'd never fucking walked into a gym in his life. So now that Punk's a bit older, he's beginning to lift a few weights, but make no mistake about it, you know, if Punk had to put a bit more effort in when he was younger, he would have had a better body shape when he had his first stint in WWE, first time around. That is fucking facts. So, I mean, you hear it all the time, oh, no, some people look better at this age than they do that. Yeah, listen, nobody's denying it, right? A woman that is 40, if she eats healthy, she goes to the gym, if she works out, then yeah, she can look better than some fucking fat McDonald's eating 20-year-old. I mean, no one's denying that, but in terms of, like, your peak, whether we're talking about just, like, purely based on, like, looks and attractiveness, or whether we're talking about a physical advantage, it doesn't come after 30. It fucking does not. Anyone that thinks it does is lying. So again, why are we pushing all these guys in development that are over the age of 40? Why are these women that are over the age of 40 still in NXT? Makes no sense to me. Say it once, I'll say it again. Lita and Trish both retired at the age of 41. both retired at the age of 41, and now you're getting women that are 31 and haven't even been called up to the main roster. You know, it just makes no fucking sense. Anyway, Tony D'Angelo wins the belt. He was the youngest guy in this match, so good for him. But he's almost like dropped the Mafia gimmick, the whole Tony Soprano thing. And that was the interesting thing about D'Angelo. So now that D'Angelo doesn't have a gimmick, WWE decide that he can win the belt. It's almost like they felt the Mafia gimmick, oh, we can't put the belt on a guy that's got that gimmick. It's not serious enough, or no one's going to take him seriously. Like, why can't we actually get gimmicks in fucking wrestling? I would put the belts on people with gimmicks. I would push people that actually have fucking characters. But there's this misconception. Tony D can't be a proper champion with this soprano like gimmick. Why the fuck not? Bully Ray had the best run of his career as a singles guy in TNA when he was the leader of Aces and Eights, and he had a motorcycle gang gimmick. So why not? You know, why fucking not? I just don't understand it. But now that Tony D'Angelo's just plain and boring and looks like everyone else, now that's when they put the belt on him. But see, when he was wearing suits and he had advisors and he had the hot chick by his side, nah, don't put he's doing sit-down meetings, he's throwing people off bridges, he's putting people into the back of car trunks, getting rid of people, eliminating people, nah. Don't see that Tony D'Angelo, that's a jobber. Put him in the mid-card of NXT. See, as soon as he drops his character and he drops everything that's interesting, that's when we're going to push him. What a load of fucking shite. NXT Stand and Deliver, guys, absolutely sucked. I'm giving it a 1 out of 10. Maybe I'll get a 2 for the 2 nipples that we've seen for JC Jane, I don't know. But I'm going to get I'll get a 2 because at least Tony D'Angelo won. And he's like the youngest guy in the main event, so fuck it, I'll give him a bit of credit for that. 2 out of 10. Till next time, peace.